10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
All systems go. It's so exciting to see that in playback again. The Artemis II crew launches into space for humanity's first lunar trip in more than half a century. It's where we begin tonight. I'm Kenesha Dees. The Space Launch System rocket roared to life at Kennedy Space Center, producing nearly 9 million pounds of thrust as it carried the crew aboard the Orion spacecraft into space. The crew of astronauts, 3 Americans and 1 Canadian, are set to fly around the moon without stopping or even orbiting before heading straight back for a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. This mission expected to take about 10 days. It was a full house at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, with more than 1,000 people packing into the Davidson Center to watch history unfold. The Saturn V hall filled with cheers, countdowns, and excitement as families, space fans, and future astronauts gathered for the Artemis II launch. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala was there to see the energy that packed the room during this one-of-a-kind moment.
Let's go for launch.
This is a beautiful day for a flight.
I can wait for the launch.
Artemis II has been in development for almost a decade, marking the first crewed lunar flyby in 50 years. And not only is that a feat of its own, it's also a record-breaking one. Victor Glover is said to become the first black astronaut to orbit the moon, and Christina Cook, the first woman. Former NASA engineer Craig Sumner says this moment is a long time in the making.
I've worked on the space shuttle program for 35 years, and we were restricted to low Earth orbit. It is going to be so good to leave the bounds and the gravity of the Earth and go back to the moon. So I remember where I was when I watched Neil Armstrong step foot on the moon, watching a black and white TV. Now we're getting crystal clear color photos from beginning to end.
Lowell Zoller, a retired NASA project manager, has roots in the agency's earliest days, working during the Apollo era when the U.S. first put astronauts on the moon with Apollo 11.
We were launching these pretty regularly 50 years ago, and we're anxious to see this one get off the ground.
Sumner says funding has changed dramatically since the 1960s, ultimately leading to fewer launches. But innovation has kept missions like this moving forward. Zoller, who also worked with the European Space Agency, says space technology is one of America's strongest assets, but warns the U.S. must keep pushing forward to stay competitive.
We have got to get back into space business. The only reason that the foreign nations want to work with us is to get our technology. And now we're struggling to keep our technology up to theirs.
I think that's what our new administrator wants to do with Artemis II, and build more vehicles, fly more often, keep our crews trained, and keep our manufacturing up to speed on what it takes to build a rocket this big.
And for many in attendance, this was a destination event, with some traveling from across the country and even overseas for a front row seat to history. In Huntsville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
According to NASA's website, as of 9:10 tonight, Artemis II has traveled more than 15,000 miles, with about 225,000 still to go before reaching the moon.